Ghanaians.
So 5 slaves each. The male slaves were about 600. As I said, the men were the female slaves were about 400. So at one time, the castle held approximately 1,000 slaves at a time. Yeah, Asantua, very brave woman. The woman was also in prison in the other one, and she was here for 1 year, and she was also exiled to Seychelles Island. But the king came back through negotiations in 1924. The woman died there, but her mortal remains were later exhumed, and they brought the remains back to Ejisu. That is where she hails from, and they held the funeral for her. Now, this is the church, the first Christian church I was talking about, the Portuguese church. It's a Catholic church. They divided the church into two, and they used the ground floor as their auctioning hall, where they were auctioning human beings. The upper floor, junior soldiers' mess, and they built their own church on top of the female dining. So we have two churches here. And the rest of the rooms were for soldiers. We have missionaries, and this side for the merchants. Soldiers, the pastors, and traders. And this wall, we have a similar one there. Dutch added them later to support the walls of the castle. And British used the castle as police training school in 1948. They also added the iron race on top of it, but up and down for training or exercise. Now, let's have a look.
Is that small? Oh, it's not there. Have you said that's why I'm small?
Oh, wow.
Now look, this was a cell for the Dutch soldiers. This one not for the slaves. Some of the European soldiers, they said some of them went out without permission. Some were also drunk and disturbed. So they were in this one as punishment, and later they will be released. Yes, and then they did this just to set us an example for the rest of the Europeans. That is why this is well ventilated. Now let's see the other one.
Sorry.
Slaves ventilation.
Imagine.
This was a cell for the slaves, those who tried to escape. Yeah, those who were fighting the masters to be released. They were in this one. No food, no water until you die. So this is the death of condemned cells for the Africans. Yeah, so this is one of the dungeons for the male slaves. So this is a transit dungeon because all the male slaves pass through this one to the door of no return. And the small room that you see back there, that was where they kept branded irons, branded. The male slaves were branded. And the branded irons had the initials on top. So we have initials like ITA, International Trading Association. We have some like JSS, John Smith Slave. So they put that side in fire very hot, where we move to touch either your chest, your arms, or your back. So the marks will be there for easy identification. That's where they kept the animals. Slave exit to waiting room. So we are going there, and please you have to mind your head. There is one step down. Once your head is step down. So this is the door of no return. All the slaves passed through this, and the sea was very close. Today it has receded. So there was a ladder down, small canoes took them right from this side to the big ships and off to America or Caribbean for plantations. And according to the history, those who died at sea were more than those who died in the dungeons because of how they were packed in the ships. Yeah, and even when the slave trade was going on, there was somebody around. He was a captain of a slave ship. The name of the man is John Newton. He gave an example that when a ship takes 700 slaves, either 1/3 or half died. Yes, the man later, John Newton, later he became a pastor, a priest. And he wrote this song, Amazing Grace.
Yes.
That is his song. And because a lot of them died, visitors also laid wreaths to remember those who died in the dungeons as well as those who died at sea. So what you're saying is that those people in their souls rest in perfect peace. And before the slaves would be brought here, they were sent to a village in Ghana here. I don't know whether you know this place, Asenmanso. Yeah, from here to Asenmanso, almost 2 hours drive. There's a river there. That was where the slaves had their last bath. They were shaved before they were brought here. Yes, as I'm speaking, the river is still there. And when you go there, 2 people have been reburied there. One African American and one Jamaican. And then they were reburied because they fought for the Africans in terms of racism and so many other things. So we call the river in our local language, we call it Dongosi. Dongo. In English, it's Slave River. Yeah, a lot of people do go there, but sometimes when visitors come here, some of them do not get a chance to, maybe due to time factor. Yes, slave trade also lasted more than 400 years. So we cannot use 45 to an hour to narrate everything. So there are materials, we have videos and books. Sometimes when the visitors come here, they ask of the details. So when we get there, and then the guy selling is there, I'll show you. Any questions?
So, okay.
Only one of the tourists did it.
The purpose of the hand coin and the
some of the African Americans and those from Caribbean, some of them do not believe in Christian religion.
Oh, okay.
So they are traditional religious believers. So they come and pour libation to seek protection and prosperity for ancestors.
Okay.
Alright.
Third pipes on top of the building, and whenever it rains, it passes through. That was where the water was filtered and clean one will be harvested here. This one covers the whole floor, the entire floor. We are all standing on it. And when it is full, we have 20,000 gallons of water. So this one, like for domestic use. They use this one to cook, to wash their clothes, to do so many other things. Now, there's a balcony. Look, according to the history, anytime the governor of the castle went to rape one of the women, that is where he will stand. And some of the women will be assembled as we are, and he chooses the one he likes. Now they have to fetch water for the one chosen by the governor to wash down. Maybe the person must have been in the dungeon for so long without taking a bath. And after the humiliation, they still have to force the woman to climb the steps over there. Let's come closer. So the selected one will be compelled to climb this. There's a trap door on top. They have to open it and up the door to the governor's bedroom. And after the rape, the woman still comes back as a slave. So they said a lot of them got pregnant. And those who were found pregnant were free because no one would buy a pregnant slave. But the slaves were not from Ghana alone. Some from Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Togo, Mali, Burkina Faso. Ghana was like a hub. And apart from Ghana, there's also a castle in Senegal. It's an island, so we call it Goree Island in Senegal. And even when you go to Kenya, there's a fort called Fort Jesus. When you go to Nigeria, we have Badagry slave market in Nigeria. The same Nigeria, we have Calabar slave market. And even Ghana, apart from the forts and the castles, there was a slave market in the northern part of this country. We call it Salaga slave market. So they were bringing them down here. And because some of them were from long distances, when they were freed, they could not trace their origin. And when they gave birth, the children were light-skinned. So they built houses outside the castle for them to stay. They brought the children, and those children were educated. They were not slaves because of their complexion. And according to the history, those children grew up and they felt superior over the indigenous people. That is why today in Ghana, it is common to hear names like Van der Poel, you have Van Dyke, Fiala, you have Vroom, Thier, Smith, Wilson, Duncan, and all the other names. All are as a result of the coming of these people.
So this is the boardroom committee. Boardroom committee.
Now this is the governor's bedroom. The governor's bedroom. Bedroom, and also we have 2 living rooms here. Yeah, so these are 2 living rooms. And that is his toilet and bath. The door which is closed is the governor's toilet and bath. These are living rooms, and that is a bedroom. The governor's. Now let's see the trap door where the selected woman came up. Yeah, so the selected woman came up That's the balcony. The governor will stand there to choose. And up here to the bedroom. Modest kitchen. And that is the chimney. So that's where you smoke. And this is the Dutch church. And they do this one is called Dutch. Zion is the Lord's resting place from the Bible. Psalm 132 verse 14. This is my resting place forever. Here I will dwell. I have desired it. Now, please smile your head. Look, it's part of this tour, part of this castle. The name is Fort Saint Jago. Dutch built it in 1665. Soldiers were up to protect England and this castle as well. Because when the Dutch were attacking the Portuguese, some came from this side and others also from seaward. So the Portuguese couldn't do anything than to surrender. So they built it. And look at this. When you look down there, there's a square diagram. It's a navigational compass. At that time, they put the pole at the center of it, and there is the shadow of the pole. They fill this mold with water up to the end. And the bridge you see is a broad bridge. They can easily let it come. No one will get the chance. For security.
Bye, Kojo. Thank you.
You're welcome.